fatal heart impacts, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact don't ask, grab reactions, jacked attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose. Pick a new silver excuse, I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kiru's show here. And now, whenever we last left off with this series, we had Izuku Midoriya, or Dorzaya, as he has been called. Now, him and a servant girl, they escaped the mansion, where both of them were held as slaves. Midoriya, he murdered the mercenary captain that has been teaching him how to wield a sword, along with the mercenaries and the master they both served. Now, after this man died, Midoriya and her slave callers, they both appeared and then fell off of their necks. Since the terms of the contract, they were up. Till death do they part. Now, with that being said, Midoriya and this girl, they did then hop inside the carriage and leave, as the mansion burned into the night. Now, we do have the next morning, as we do cut to our former slave girl, Bella. Now, she is, for a minute, confused. She feels cold. Her then going to sit up and look around, as she does go to immediately bring her hands up to her neck and go to feel the back of her neck. Now, she does seem very surprised. She's in the back of a carriage? Her then thinking about why she's here before it does click immediately. That's right. Her and Dorzaya, they left the mansion. They're free. Now, she does actually go to look in the front of the carriage. The man's not there. Her then stepping out and looking around. The two, they made their way into the woods to sleep. Shortly after they left, she talked about how they need to sleep right now since it's getting pretty late. And the fact was that if they do head into town in the middle of the night covered in blood, it's more suspicious. Dorzaya, he let her sleep in the wagon, while he stayed outside and by a campfire. Now, she does go to step outside of the back of the wagon as she does look around, having her eyes adjust. Now, she's surprised to see that there is a small campfire that is barely burning. And she's trying to look for Midoriya. Her sniffing around the air and trying to find the strong scent of iron. Now, she does turn her head as she does smell it faintly, as she does go to walk towards where she does turn left and walk deeper into the woods, where she actually does come upon the scene, where there's a man who's currently bathing in a small oasis, and he's splashing water on his face along with actually rubbing his arms and his back. Now, she is very surprised. It's Dorzaya. Now, she is trying to think. She should really give him some privacy. Now, as she does think that, you do have one Midoriya. He does actually go to splash his face, as he does hear a twig break. Now, Midoriya, he does immediately go to sink down into the water as he does disappear from view. Now, you do then have where, Bella, she's surprised. For a minute she does think that he's hurt, or something pulled him down. her going to run over and see what's going on. As she does go to reach for Midoriya's sword, you do actually have Midoriya, he does leap out of the water and directly go to grab her. Her being forced onto the ground, as Midoriya, he does realize that it's her. You really shouldn't sneak up on people. Sorry. Now, you're going to close your eyes, and I'm going to get up and put my clothes back on. Are we clear? Yeah, sorry. Now, Midoriya, he would stand back up and put on his pants, as he does then take the cloak and cover his body. Now, Midoriya would tell Bella that she can open her eyes now. It's just a surprise is all. I didn't think you would actually take a bath. Yes. Despite all looks and appearances, I know what a bath is. I never said that you didn't. It's just that. Besides, that's the first one I've had in about 3 months. Oh. Yeah. Now, Roy, he does go to bring his hand up, as he does hold onto his sword. As Bella, she does see Midoriya's arm. Whenever the two first did meet, Midoriya, he grabbed her by her wrist. His grip was so limp, and his body was so weak. Her arm was scarred, yes, but then there's Midoriya's. The assortment of scars on Midoriya's are all mixing together, and in fact, they look like a jumbled mess. There's one that goes directly straight down Midoriya's arm. There's one that goes diagonally, there's one that goes this way, there's one that goes that way, and then there's what looks to be deep bite marks. Now, Bella does comment on Midoriya's scars. And Midoriya, he does look down at them and talk about how he doesn't want to talk about anything. Okay, but where do you want to go? Now, Midoriya, he does freeze. As he does ask her if she knows where a small village is nearby that was recently attacked by bandits a couple months back. Now, she does just say yes, talking about how she's heard of that place but she hasn't been to it before. I want to head there first. Find out if they're still around. Find out if who are still around. The people who sold me into this life. Oh. What are you gonna do to them? I might pay them a little bit of a visit. And see what happens then. Now, Midoriya and her do get back to the wagon, as they would head in a direction. Now, they do head into town and then head out of it, as they do take an hour journey to the small village where Midoriya, he once used to call home. Now, Midoriya, he does just sit outside the town, telling Bella to stay here. Why? I have business to take care of. And if all goes well, I'll come back within a couple minutes. You're gonna kill them, aren't you? Midoriya turning to her as you see that look in his eyes. The look of despair and pure, unadulterated rage. Listen, I'm not saying that's bad, but you should know you don't always have to solve your problems by killing someone. If you had the opportunity to kill the people who sold you into your life, would you take it? No. She does look surprised at Midoriya's statement. And she doesn't say a word. She can't. Midoriya? Yeah, she's in no point to have the moral high ground. She's been through similar things to him. He's had it more intense in the last year of his life than she's had it in the last, well, let's just say 8. Now, she has been beaten and abused, along with belittled, and, well, yeah, almost basically tortured. Now, Midoriya, he would head back into town. as you do have where he does wear the cloak and cover his face with the hood. Now, Midoriya he does head to the area, and people do see him. As we do actually have where one man who does see Midoriya approaching, he does turn around and directly run, as the man does start shouting about a bandit. Now, we do have where Midoriya, he is then approached by 5 men who all do wield swords and shields. Now, all of them do stare down at Midoriya, as they're informing him that if he is here to raid their village, then he will be met with combat. This village was attacked months back, was it not? Yes, it was. Are you the original residents of this village? Some. Why do you ask? Now, Midoriya he does remember the girl's name. Him saying the name of a man, and then saying, I believe I named the girl Eliza. Is she around? Yes. She managed to get away. Her and her father are perfect. Midoriya does say. This being when Midoriya he does go to directly grab it at his waist within the span of half a second. And he does cleave his sword directly through 4 of the men. As the 5th man, he does watch it in horror. They are dealing with a monster. And before the guy does even go to scream, Midoriya he did rush in and directly grab the guy by his face. Do you remember me? Midoriya would say. As the guy does go to bring up his hand and try and stab Midoriya in the face, but he does just stab through the hood. And Midoriya he does go to pull off the hood, before grabbing the man's sword and then just snapping it in 2 like a piece of paper. Now, the man does look on in fear. Midoriya is saying, it's really nice to see you, Jonathan, before he does just crush the man's head, simply. Now, Midoriya, he just turned this guy's lower jaw directly into glass, and the man does fall to the ground. As we do cut back over to Bella, where she did hear a very, very, large sound. And she did then begin to smell fire, as she does go to move her way into the village. And you do have Midoriya, who he does eventually walk up to the house, and the old man does look out, as he does see somebody staying there he recognizes. Now, the old man he does come walking out, and he does then see Midoriya. It's you. Yeah, it's me. Long time no see. And exactly why are you here? Simple. Revenge. Revenge? Yes. You sold me out. And for what? I told you we could have fought, but you didn't listen to me, did you? I couldn't. Those men, they would have. They're all dead. I'm sorry? I killed them all. And I even killed the man I was sold to. You did? Yes, I did. Now, I told you we could have fought them, but you refused my offer. Now, you do actually have where Eliza, she does come walking up to the door. As you actually have where her father, he does turn his head back to her before turning back to Midoriya. And I'm going to tell her that it's not safe here. As he did turn back to Midoriya, he does just grab the man by his throat and pick him up. As you do actually then have Eliza, she does go to pull a knife and directly try to stab Midoriya directly in the shoulder, trying to get him to let go of her father. Now, as she does do that, the blade, it does directly hit Midoriya's shoulder before breaking. and she does then look down at the blade that snapped, before her eyes do widen and she does look back towards Midoriya. Midoriya bringing his hand up and directly grabbing her by her throat, as he does then slam her against the wall and she does hit the ground. And Midoriya he does look back at the man, who does begin to start begging for his life. Really? You're doing that now? I wonder what mistake you did that led you to here, this particular position. Midoriya casting poison magic as the man he does then fall backwards onto the ground after Midoriya he does let him go. Now, multiple people are beginning to crowd around this house, and they are very, very worried. The bandit that came to their village is currently inside that place, as we do at least have somebody who they do walk forwards and they do at least get ready to cast their own magic. Now, after Midoriya, he does, bend down and explain to the man what he's going to do next. The man, he does begin to cry. As Midoriya, he does turn around and pick up Elaine, or Eliza, before he does just drag her by her hair out of her home. Midoriya walking out to see everybody. Really? So, it's a grand reunion then. No way. It's him, the stranger. I wouldn't call myself a stranger. I went by a name for some time. Dorzaya? All of you should know it. Dorzaya? Wait, doesn't that mean he's... Yes, a slave. Former, if to be exact. Now, the men all do stare at Midoriya, as one guy he does go to try and cast an ice spear directly towards Midoriya's and stab him. Midoriya bringing up one hand and casting Fireball. As the two elements, they do meet and nullify into the air, turning into a hot steam. Now, the guy he does just stare back at Midoriya. That shouldn't be possible. He can use magic now? What happened to this guy? Now, Midoriya he would just bring up his hand and go to undo his cloak. Before he does, slowly set it down towards the ground, and everyone, they do see his body. This dude's jacked. Along with that, look at him. Every part of him is covered in strange scars and things they don't want to know. Midoriya informing all of them that this is what his master did to him, and that man's currently rotting in a forest. Now, Midoriya he would then go to let go of Eliza as he does bring up both of his hands. And he does cast 2 fireballs directly towards everybody. Now, we do have Bella who does watch this happen. As Midoriya, he does incinerate all of them. And you do then have Eliza who she does see what's happening. Now, Midoriya he does go to grab her by the back of her head as she does pull her face directly up. Midoriya then jamming his hands and keeping her eyes open, telling her that she has to watch. Now, she does begin to cry and scream at the scene unfolding in front of her. As Midoriya, he does smile, and he does find what she's screaming to be soothing. Now, Midoriya he does then quickly twist, as she does hit the ground. And Midoriya, he does go to stand up and walk away, before she can at least see him moving his mouth, as he does say a few things. Elijah, I considered you to be a friend, my first real one. Him then turning around, and she can no longer see his mouth moving. You are still alive. Can you feel it? I dislocated the back of your neck or the top of your vertebrae from the rest. Right now, you can't move. However, you're still conscious and alive, and able to at least feel your legs. So, Midoriya does say, bending down and into her view. I believe I owe you an explanation. My true name is Izuku Midoriya. Now, she does just stare up at Midoriya, as he does continue talking, explaining to her that he's somebody from another world. And he did find out that he did have special abilities after a few months of being enslaved. Along with that, well, I should explain to you, there is life after death. But I'm not the first person you sold out, is it? You're gonna die here, slow and painful, and with the knowledge that everyone you love is dead. Then after that, you're going to die and go to hell. How does that sound? Now, she does begin to scream. As Midoriya, he does just stand up and go to walk away. Now, Midoriya, he does walk directly through the flames, as he does then, at least, come back up to the wagon, telling her that they're going to search this area and then they're going to head back into that town. Now, Bella, she does stare at Midoriya, and she's too afraid to even deny him this request. Her instinctually going to say, yes, master, before she does bring her hand up to her mouth and go to cover it completely. As she does then look at Midoriya. He's gonna do it, isn't he? He's going to enslave her. He's going to put a collar on her and then she's gonna be back in this life. Don't say those words again. Her staring at Midoriya. I said it once. You are not a slave. That's all. As far as I'm concerned, I'm still a stranger in this land. And I need help. Now, we're going to get resources from this village and then head back into that town and figure out what to do next. Do you understand me? You don't have to, if you don't want to. You understand what a choice is, right? Now, she does stare at Midoriya. As she does just go to mush the horse. Now, Midoriya and her, they do pack up supplies. Goods that were stored for the winter. Weapons and armor that were left in houses. And even gold and silver coins that were, well, former currency, or they were currency that the people of this village did have, but they will no longer be using. Now, in total, Midori, he does find at least 50 gold coins, and together 400 pieces of silver. As the two, they do head back into the town they would just pass through, and they do arrive later that night at an inn. Now, as the two do walk into the bar, you do actually have where people are staring at Midoriya, since he's a traveler, and they do stare at his strange companion. Midoriya walking directly up to the bar and asking the guy if he does have a room available, or rooms. You should know our policy here, sir. Yeah, it's a lot like that in this town and many others. We don't serve demi-humans. I'm sorry, you didn't understand my phrasing. Did you have a room available? Sir, I'll tell you that again. We don't. Midoriya using his bloodlust. And the man, he does directly just stare back at Midoriya with fear and piss running down his leg. Him turning around, grabbing a key, and handing it to Midoriya as he does ask how much. Sir, for you on the house. Damn right. Now, that's what Midoriya does think, as does grab the key and go to walk up the stairs. As a man does stand directly in Midoriya's path, informing him that he should have to pay. Exactly who would you be? I'm security, the man does say. Midoriya can see this guy. He's 9 foot tall and he does at least have giant pointed ears. It's quite something. they don't serve demi-humans, but at least they're not worried about not hiring them. This guy's at least half orc. Now, the man, he does go to pick up his giant axe, and then tell Midoriya that he's leaving now and he's paying the money for that room. Midoriya looking up at the man as he does tell him to try and take a swing. Now, the man, he does stare at Midoriya as he does swing his axe upwards and then go to swing it down. Bella going to tell Dorozaya to move. Now, the man, he would hear that name, as Midoriya, he does bring up his hand and catch the weapon. Now, the guy, he does watch. Midoriya, he caught the weapon as it did begin to start cutting into his hand. Midoriya then bring up his other hand and then punching the man directly in the stomach. As the man, he does cough up blood. Midoriya then pulling his hand outwards, as the guy, he does go to grab down at Midoriya and rip off the cloak, as people do see him. Now, Midoriya, he does look down at his hand, which is now soaked in blood. And I just took a bath this morning. You just killed Dwellenheim. I'm gonna pretend like I know who that is. That man, he's very... Never mind. Anyways, I'm gonna go to bed now. If any more of your men attack me, I'm burning this place to the ground. Now, Midoriya, he would head up to his room, as he does at least request a basin of water to bathe in. Now, this would be brought to Midoriya's room, as he does then wash off his arm and sit there out on his bed. Now, you do actually have Bella, who's sitting there with Midoriya. And Midoriya, he's trying to think. Okay, this place had one room available. He could kick out somebody, but he's already causing enough problems here. And if he's gonna guess right, the city guard's gonna pop up this morning or tomorrow morning to try and arrest him. So, he'll deal with that whenever he has to. Now, Midoriya, he does go to lay down in the bed, as Bella, she does stare at Midoriya. Excuse me, where am I supposed to sleep? Midoriya looking at her, without even sitting up. It doesn't matter where you sleep. You can sleep on the bed, on the other side, or I can just hop on the ground. Or you could, I don't care. Wait, sleeping together? On the bed? Yeah. Now, Midoriya, he does go to bring his hand up and grab the light, as Belle, she does completely freeze in her tracks, as she does remember all those times in the past where the lights went out and she was hurt. Now, she does directly leap backwards off the bed and then go to scurry underneath it. Now, Midoriya, he did look at her confused. Whatever. Him going to lay his head backwards and fall asleep. As we do have the next morning, Midoriya is still lying in bed. This thing's actually pretty comfy. Then again, it's not like one of the mattresses back in the other world. Now, you do have where somebody, they would knock on Midoriya's door, and it does then get busted open. As Midoriya, he's still laying down. And you do actually have where a man with a spear, he does go to bring in and bring the blade up to Midoriya's throat. Midoriya just opening his eyes and turning his head to the man. Your name is Dorozaya, correct? Call me that again. See what happens. Sir, you are in no position. Or should I say possession? That word. You keep saying it, but I just hear something else. Well, you will now be serving time in the jail. No, I won't. I'm not going back to another cage. Another cage? Now, Roy he would go to bring his hand up as he does grab the spear. As he does then put it closer to his neck, informing the man that if he's gonna kill him, then do it. Now, the man he does begin to shake. As Roy he does bring up his hand and directly smash it downwards, cutting the spear in two. And then going to stand up with the, well, half of the spear that is, hold the blade. As he does then bend down and pick up the other side. Interesting. Now, the man informs Midoriya that his name is Alaries, and he's been ordered to by his captain. Tell Alaries that that man downstairs that you guys found dead, he wouldn't serve us. In fact, he tried to kill me. I didn't do anything. I just came into this fine establishment trying to find room and board. However, he wouldn't serve me because I had a friend who's demi-human. A friend? Now, the man does say to search the room. Roya, him, going to bend down and grab the blanket as he does pull it up. As you do actually see a tail sticking out from underneath. Now, the man he does go to bend down and go to grab the tail. As you do actually have where somebody they do directly grab his wrist and slash his, well, claws across it. Now, you do actually have where Bella, she does come flying out the other side of the bed. And she does then go to stand up, bringing up her hands. And she does so show claws. Dorzaya, what's Bella? Or Midoriya saying, stop talking. Not saying her name. A maid outfit? Wait. You're Oxwolds, aren't you? How perceptive. It's my job. Now, are you coming with me or Midoriya, him moving forwards, as he does inform the man, as he's directly by him, that he never said he was coming with him. And if he does think he is, he's got another thing coming to him. The man doesn't serve demi-humans, but he hires them. Does that make any sense to him now? Midoriya admitting his bloodlust throughout the entire sentence. As the man, he does go to back away. Yes, I see the problem here. Now, leave. Now, the men, they all do go to shamble outwards and run off. As Midoriya, he does go to drop this stupid weapon. Now, he does then go to tell Bella that they need to leave. Yes. Now, as they do leave, Midoriya, he does remark that with the maid outfit, she does stick out like a sore thumb. And how she does need to change. Understood. Stop talking like that. Yeah, okay. By the way, what's your name? Yeah. I keep hearing you just called servant or something else. That other thing that I don't know what it means. And then there's the fact that you do have one, right? Now, the girl, she would just say no. She doesn't remember her name. It's one of the many things that were taken from her whenever she was a lot younger. I see. Well, how about Belle? Belle? Or Bella, whatever. Bella. Now, the girl she does try and say that word. Bella. Bella. Her asking exactly where he came up with that. Him just looking back and forwards as he does go to pass through the, well, district where merchants are selling items. Now, Roy he does eventually pull up to a shop where he does get out. Him looking up to see what the shop symbol is, as they do walk in. Now, the man is quite surprised. since he does see a half-naked man and a maid walk into his shop. And Midori, he does inform the man that he does need clothings, or cloth, or bleh. He needs a few things: food and clothing. The man, nodding at Midori's request, as he does go to grab something from the back. Now, he does grab something from Midoriya. However, Midori, he does also then request something for her over there. Sir, isn't that the esteemed lord and the manor's maid? No, it isn't. She made that outfit herself, and she just likes to, what's the word? Dress up. I see. Now, the man he would return to the back, as Midori he does grab this shirt and go to put it on. Now, Midori he does inspect it. He doesn't understand what material this is made out of, but it feels a little heavy, and it does at least feel sturdy. So, it's some form of armor, isn't it? Now, the man and Midoriya, they do talk some more, as the man does express that he only has one outfit that would be that demi-human size. Now, Midoriya, he does pay for these items, and he does then leave, before they do then head somewhere else. And they do sell some of the stuff they have stolen. Now, eventually you do have Midoriya and her, who are both sitting in this wagon, and they're eating. The girl, she feels strange. That uniform was one of the only items she's ever owned. And it's not here anymore. Sure, it's just to her right, folded up nicely, and it's well dirty, but it's still something that she owns. Bella. Yes. You're not eating. So sorry. Don't apologize to me. Now, Midori would ask her a few questions, as he does try to get answers from her. Now, Bella, she does, well, hear a few things that Midori he does say. He's not from around here and he doesn't understand the nation. Along with that, apparently from what she does hear him talk about, he can't read and write. However, she does express things from the beginning. Now, Midoriya he does hear her begin to speak, as she does express to Midoriya that this is what the nation is called. This is what the town they're currently in is called, and, well, in this town, the church, they are a large controlling factor. And in fact, you do actually have the knights, and then what you call the holy knights. What's the difference? Some are blessed by God. Really? Yes. Along with that, demi-humans were not really treated as, well, people. Okay. Why? Because we are abominations of the church, as we're called. Human-controlled nations, they fear demi-humans. Along with that, there's just the fact that we outnumber them. We outnumber all of you. I doubt that. It's true, though. Demi-human nations, we, well, are everywhere. Humans, they're stronger and they do have magical abilities, yes. However, many races do as well. Along with that, there's also the fact that everybody, they do live in fear, since the first Demon Lord was a demi-human. Demon Lord? Yes, a Demon Lord. It's a being who's, well, they're said to be from the underworld. They were once a being that was considered immortal. However, they reached a point of no return. No one understands how a demon lord comes to be. However, many things are required. They meet the requirements, as I think you would say it. Yes, that's exactly it. Now, this town here in particular, however, they do also keep charge of a sword. The church nearby. They hold on to what they believe to be the Sword of Darkness. Really? Yes. They pray to keep it away. However, at the same time, it's also the fact that it's sealed in a stone. And it's interesting. Exactly what is this sword meant to do? It's meant to, well, it's said to be the sword of the Demon Lord. Now, Midoriya does talk about how that's pretty interesting. However, he does have a flaw with that. That sword is probably a fake. What? Think about it. Why would the church keep an item of ungodly power hidden right in the public's eye? Well, they can't remove it. They can't. It's easy. Take the entire stone. Someone has access to something that can move it, can't they? An orc can lift it if they wanted to, right? The stone, sure, they could, but so it's a fake. However, I am interested to see if it's real. Maybe it could be of some interest to me, however. Now, Bella, she does hear what Midoriya is saying. And she does stare at him for a second, surprised. Midoriya wants to take the Sword of Darkness. Now, we do have Midoriya, he does, then set a course for the church. He wants to see if this item is real. And if it is, he can have his hands on something that will help him. Since he wants to take this nation out for being so cruel. And being so disturbing. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing night. Catch you guys in the next part.